I have this cute, tiny black pug. And if you know pugs, you know she has the heart of a Viking warlord. You want to pet her and she's thinking about eating your liver. So I'm walking her and her adopted brother, who's an Australian sheepdog, who was a COVID mistake. And we're out for a walk, and then there's me there with them, you know, brown, nerdy guy. Think Filipino Harry Potter. And we're walking in this neighborhood that's really upscale. And the brick homes are huge, and even the trees seem taller in this neighborhood. And I love big homes and big trees. But that day, I realized I wasn't enjoying this walk. I was nervous. I was building all these scenarios in my mind where wealthy white people came out onto their front porch to yell at me because my dog pooped in their yard or stepped in their flower bed. And these scenarios, they build up to the point where my heart is racing and getting a little uncomfortable, and pretty soon, without knowing it, I start walking home in a hurry as if I had been accosted. And on this hurried walk home, I take a second, just take a couple of deep breaths, and I ask myself, what is going on here? And something inside me answers, I'm terrified of rich white people. Why are you terrified of rich white people? Because I'm scared I don't belong here. And I took some time to try and dig into those feelings and figure out where they had come from and how they had grown so strong. And I remembered coming to the U.S. from Guatemala when I was 9 years old and not speaking a single word of English. I could not count to 3. I could not say hello. I had nothing. So one day I come home and I ask my mom, Mom, what does hello, how are you mean? And she says, well, it means hola, ¿cómo estás? And you should answer, fine, thank you. And I rehearse that thing all weekend long so that when Monday comes around and I show up in class, I am ready. And my school teacher says, hello, how are you? And I respond, funny, thank you. And everybody laughs. And I feel betrayed by the English language. How could such a small difference in sound make such a huge difference in meaning? I laugh along with everybody and try to kind of stay on their side. But it's the last laughable mistake I ever make in English. Speaking it flawlessly became this weapon for me that I wielded to make sure I didn't become anybody's fool. About a year later, I met my first frenemy. His name was Brian, and my mom cleaned his mansion of a house for a living. So Brian and I were in his backyard, this beautiful pine-covered yard, and we were playing by his lap pool. And I remember he looked up at me and said, hey, nice shirt. And I was beaming. I was like, thanks. This white kid is complimenting my shirt. I am winning at America right now. And he goes on, you're poor. You're not supposed to have a nice shirt. And it takes me a few seconds to accept that one human is willing to say this kind of thing to another human face to face. When I recover, I'm just mad. I am mad that he thinks he's better than me, but sadder than that, I believe him. And I think to myself, I lost this battle because I'm poor, but I'm going to plan for the next one. And that day, I decided I would never be poor again. If sounding exactly like these people wasn't enough, I was going to earn like them. I was going to spend like them. So a few years ago, my wife and I bought a house in our dream neighborhood. And it was move-in day, and I was directing traffic on the lawn, and I see a neighbor come across the street with a gift, a huge bowl of raspberries. And he comes up to me and he asks, "Is the homeowner here?" And at the moment, it just went over my head, but later that night, I thought, maybe he thought I was a construction worker or a landscaper or one of the moving crew. Because he knows that in the last 50 or so years, no one's bought a house on this street that looks like me. And I think to myself, well, yeah, flawless English, check. Middle class income, check. But there is nothing I can do about my face. Looking back on these experiences helped me see why I was hurt and why I was scared. And I needed to do something about it. So I went back to that upscale street with my dogs, and this time as I walked, I repeated in my mind to myself, I belong here. I belong here. I belong here. And it hit me. My whole life I had been asking to belong. Funny, thank you. Look, I know I got that wrong, but if I laugh with you guys, can I belong here? Hey, I have a nice shirt. Do I belong here? Look, I know I look like the tile guy, but I bought this place. I mean, do I belong here now? And that day, on round 2, on the rich kid's street, my words teach me to stop asking. And as I repeat them, I belong here. I belong here. I belong here. Something starts growing inside me, and I think to myself, I belong here and I don't need anyone's permission. I belong here and flawless English is not required. I belong here regardless of my income. I belong here because I like it here. I belong here because I chose this place. I belong here because I said so. I'm coming home. I used to wonder which promised land was mine. Where do I fit among this maze of borderlines? I was a stranger from my stumbling mouth, from being born poor and so far south, and it broke me and made me hard. How could a wound take 30 years to scar? I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. My days as foreign man are done. I'm coming like a long lost son. Somewhere within me, a signal starts to rise. This land is my land, and you can't say otherwise. And I am home, though I might seem absurd, flying across your street like some exotic bird. These are my colors, these are my wings, this is my nest, this is my everything. Oh, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. My days as foreign man are done. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Greet me like a long lost son. Greet me like a long lost son. Greet me like a long lost son.